Did you know that online streaming is becoming the most powerful means of reaching a broader audience? Even major networks are transitioning from cable television to online streaming platforms. BGK is a Christian online TV network that is ahead of the curve. We specialize in virtual broadcasting, allowing leaders to broadcast right from their homes while sitting in the comfort of their customized studios. And as if that wasn't enough, you can have our very own broadcast production for as low as $25 per week. Yes, I said it, $25 per week. Wouldn't you love to have your studio right in the comfort of your home? Well, call us at 877-386-6207 and become a broadcast partner with BGK Broadcast Network.
Hello, I am Evangelist Virginia Bowie, the host of the Cafe Freedom chat show that airs Mondays at 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock p.m. If you have an inspiring, transformative word that you want to share, why not consider becoming a part of the BGK Network family? You'll be a blessing and you'll be blessed.
BGK 24/7 online Christian TV network. Making what was once impossible, possible.
Hello, and welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of F.L.O.W. Combos on the Couch, hosted by BGK Network, brought to you by Glory Cloud Broadcast. And welcome. Thank you for joining us on today. Today we bring to you a topic could be a little uncomfortable because it's untalkable subject, and that subject is around grief. Grief is that thing that many is uncomfortable talking about, but it's just a process of our natural reaction that we're built with. But how do you recognize? How can you realize or recognize that your grieving is in an unhealthy state at this time? We found that it was important to bring this topic to light on today due to, we know our national circumstance has been dealing with the pandemic, and loss has been at the forefront. Very devastating, very traumatizing in so many levels. Most times when we talk about grief, the automatic thought is because of someone has lost a loved one, a pet, or someone that is considered part of their family dynamic. But truth, reality, we could go through phases of grief, even in all the transition that has happened and been thrown upon us now within this pandemic. Loss in itself causes the body and the mind to go into a state of grief. And today we're just going to talk about and share a few tools and just give a little enlightenment and a little insight on how to help you or someone that you may be connected to go through this process in a healthy state. Grief is normal. It's the reaction to losing someone or losing something or losing a place. But the state of mourning is how you kind of process through that. And that also can be unhealthy as well as healthy. I don't come to you even though I am a clinical professional, I don't come to you in conversation so much on the point of a clinical standpoint, but I also come to you as an example of this process, a process that took me quite a bit of going through because of my reality and society's reality of what that looked like. And so within myself, not wanting to look as a failure and not wanting to lose the fear of losing anything else, um, I denied that process. I denied that process until my body started shutting down. And so today here at Faithfully Living Out Wisdom, where our motto and theme is to stand in faith, living out um, the wise and the wisdom that comes out of experiences, good or bad. Most times it's the bad that we throw away. It's most times that the bad that we put on the shelf and we don't take any wisdom out of it unless it re-triggers us into a negative space. But I'm here today just to remind you that there can be beauty in and out of dark spaces, right? And there's always a new beginning at every point of an end. So let's begin. Let's begin. Let's begin to share the reasoning why we cover ourselves here at 2 Timothy 1 and 7, that God does not give us a spirit of fear, but of a sound mind, of power, and love. And that's because life challenges at times could raise up fear, right? It could cause us to feel defeated. It could further cause more damage emotionally, because it triggers and brings about emotions that we didn't know was within us. It could bring back memories or situations that we lived out and dealt with from way back, from when we were little children, and now we are pulled into a place where it causes us to recognize that our life patterns and journey and decisions have been affected by that incident that happened way back there. And we were told to just put it away, go on, life continues. But unfortunately, yes, life continues. But if we don't deal with that and we don't process that, it does revisit us. Um, some of the choices and decisions that have been made and practices of our culture has been what happens here, and our house stays in our house, and we fix our own. Um, and we're not broken, has caused um, a little bit more harm than good as we're looking at the current and the recent activities and past history of our youth within or over the last 10 or so years, where these are young people that are the prodigal of when there was the heightened phase of epidemics and family torn up, and um, elder generations were raising those children, and now they are transitioning over and no longer here, and those children are coming into the world with all kinds of after effects of consuming those chemicals within the womb. um, and so we need to talk about it. We need to talk about this thing called grief and this state of being that's um, considered mourning, right? It's just part of what we do when we lose something. Um, it's not always about a person. In this epidemic, many are going to and probably dealing with grief um, due to your trip being canceled. You're missing out being able to spend time with loved ones, not because they've transitioned from the effects of the COVID virus, but because you're in one house in one state or even the same state, and you can't be together. Many are grieving the loss of stability of their finances, paycheck. Um, Many have probably had a plan, something, a great plan of being giving birth. Um, to a child, or being the first time grandparent, and they were to be there and they can't be there. Weddings, graduations, a lot of young people are really going through this devastation now that they won't be able to have their prom, and they won't be able to have their graduation ceremony and things like that. And it's real. It's real. We can't ignore it. We can't take it for granted that resilience within our young people is just that powerful. Resilience is cultivated. Yes, it's within us, but it's cultivated. And so, how do we acknowledge that? How do we help someone acknowledge and know that the symptoms of reliving, that situation, or having the nightmares, or being very hypervigilant, and every sound, every noise, you're jumpy, your appetite has been changed. Um, all of those are effects of the grief and the trauma and the stress of what's going on within this pandemic. We've been torn away from family members. Young people have been torn away from their normalcy and the consistency of getting up and showing up in a place that they spent 8 hours that has become their family. And we're talking about the school setting. And so they're grieving, losing their friends, and, not be able to go out and, run around and play with their pets. And, how do we help someone recognize that, right? And once again, I'm just not talking from a therapeutic place, but a place that I have journeyed from. And I have written that journey and have been a part of a collaboration where I was able to share my journey of grief to glory, where that process for me also was very devastating. Of going through those phases. Yes, there's stages. There are 7 stages, but those stages of, do not happen the same way for everyone. And so today, just pointing out that acceptance is, is one of the stages. Someone may accept that this is what's happening now, or they may just go on as norm and not really hit and accept that things are not going to be the same, and what that will look like the next couple of months when things are opened up for us to be able to go out and collectively be together again. Guilt, the state of guilt, it may happen briefly, it may not happen at all, it may just totally consume someone, right? That is a normal process. Oh, it's my fault, or maybe I had to do something better. Blaming the other person because of the guilt, and all those conversations that come up. And if I had to do something better, you run out of resources. Oh, if I had had this, and all those things, right? Shame, right? Denial that this is not happening. Look out the window, or you make that errand and that run, and you've done everything that you needed to do to safeguard yourself, but the next person you see is just out there like things are normal, and not realizing that they are at risk of being a carrier. And so even though you're doing all that you need to do to stay safe, someone else that did not respect that, right? That's in denial that this is real. Yes, it does happen to us. People can get it. Young people can get it, right? All those theories and myths have been thrown out the window. And so grief is very powerful because it has that track. It has a grip. It has, those things that can keep you there, right? The forgiveness, forgiving yourself, right? That there wasn't a plan, forgiving yourself for not knowing that the signs and symptoms that you may have been experiencing were putting you at risk, or even if there's someone that it has overcome it, right, and have put someone else at risk. It's okay. It's okay. When you go through grief, there are so many stages to this, and everyone processes it different. And so, how can you get past that, right? How can you not allow yourself to get locked into that state of unforgiveness, um, where it's causing you more harm, more damage, more isolation within 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 your home or state or place that you have to be in, right? Having empathy for yourself and having empathy for others, right? We're in a time, sometimes people forget, because of, the biblical knowledge that they have and just being encouraging, they, may say some things, and I've heard some things, and I see people saying, well, God is another, and, let's be mindful. Let's be mindful. Let's keep compassion ahead, right? Let's be considerate. Let's, you know, work at, what the word is saying about getting rid of all bitterness, rage and anger, slander, and every form of malice. Let's be more compassionate with each other, forgiving each other, right? Just as Christ forgave us, right? Because we all have some type of feeling and we're trying to come with some type of understanding of what has taken place. We have been sideswiped, right? And so we go along with our daily things, and we're not understanding that we are operating in a state of grief, and that it's okay to take time to allow yourself to process this, to heal through this. Okay, losing people that you love affects you. Losing things you love affects you. Losing being able to go places that now you can't go to will affect you. It is buried inside of you and becomes this big, deep hole of ache, right? But it doesn't have to stay there. It doesn't magically go away, even if and when you stop officially mourning. And once again, mourning is that process of how we're dealing with it every day. Some are struggling to get out of the bed, even though you can stay there, but we're talking about that abnormal struggle, right? With the curtains closed and the room dark, not showering, just talking as it's doing, appetites are changing, eating and nothing at all, or overeating, right? Um, it takes a toll. Crying. Everything is making you cry, and having a conversation is difficult. Those could be some possible symptoms of your grief and your mourning of this transition, of losing things that have been of value and that is a value of you. And most important valuable thing that we have is that sense of liberty to come and go. And that could be hard, really hard for many, especially many that stand in leadership positions, because um, the compassion and the desire in you was to go and to be with those that are part of your circle, that were part of your family, and what's considered your family, whether it be ministry, whether it be your company, whether it be, your project or your outreach that you do. It could be hard, and it could take you into a state of feeling helpless, which is a part of your grief and mourning. And so I just want to encourage you to be aware of those things, um, to be aware of the sensations that rise up in your body. If you're having headaches, if you feel a little nervous, if your digestive is off, bloating, nauseated, all those could be symptoms of internalizing what you're actually dealing with now. If it gets too much for you, reach out, give a call to your doctor's office. The city of Chicago has a list of resources. Call our number 312-857-6055. We can most definitely offer resources or redirect you, or the flowlife41gmail.com, where we have resources and can help you plan and get through that. Um, Grief is real. It is here. It is something we have to process. We need to find a way to process through. It's okay to reflect. It's okay to ask those questions. What could you do that could help you get through this? You know, um, what can be an example of what you could do, of what that would look like, right? What is keeping you from accepting that this is a reality and moving past operating in a temporary state of where you are now, but also making that those steps and practices that you're putting in place um, become part of your long haul, your sustainability once we come out of this. We are coming out of this, and things will be different. And so I invite you to look at that, to ask those questions, right? To have compassion within it, to have the beauty of empathy, and to continue to walk in that grace of forgiveness for yourself and for others. Many may feel that God has abandoned them. In Matthew 27:46, you know, Christ cried out, my God, you know, why have you abandoned me? I've cried desperately for your help. You felt abandoned in that state. And Psalms, they're sharing, their testimony of where, how it was for them when they were at that brink of it being ended, when they were struggling, going through the COVID and the virus. And, before they, were healed and was able to be discharged and go home. But they felt so abandoned and felt like, there was no hope for them. But know that there is hope. There is hope, and that is part of your process. And that, fight, accept that this is happening, accept that, that your body is reacting. It was nothing that you did, because many are also saying that they did everything right and still don't know how they are affected. Even after contracting them. And so they're grieving. They're grieving, losing their capacity of independence. They're grieving being torn away from their families, and family members can't be by their bedside. They're mourning the loved ones that has moved on, and those that can't be with you are mourning as well. And so, you know, walking past that, believing in that, finding the tools on what you can see in that process. What can you see in that process? Right? I journaled and offer you that as well. Write that out, what that looks like. Right? What can that sound like for you? Right? In one of my processes of visualizing of what that process was, I had a picture and was offered a picture. And in that storm of mourning and grieving, my words were a calming road to serenity. No distractions, no resistance, no denial of a higher self. A restoring divine space that is very strategic in its positioning, yet graceful and graced with beauty. The open, fresh breath of air is exhilarating and drawing me to the blanket awaiting me. A newness as a baby, fresh in heart, his love is real. And remembering the love is real. The love for you to come through this, the love for you being strengthened through this, the love for you to be encouraged through this. Right? Weakness is only temporary. And when you're going through grief and in that phase of mourning, yes, it's okay to be weak, but allow that weakness to be healthy. Be weak in the way that you open and are allowing yourself to be open, to be nurtured, to be encouraged, to move about, um, and allow um, your space to be your comfort zone, to express that. If you need to yell, yell. You need to cry, cry. If you need to jump up and down, that's fine. You need to get a piece of paper scribble, that's fine. That's fine. Allow that to be your healthy outlet so that you're not internalizing and causing more negative effects on yourself. I promise you, it will happen. I was so locked into that journey that I could not remember how to walk a climb of stairs. I would stand up and my body would hurt so bad because I had settled that grief and mourning within me, and it was affecting my body. It was affecting my bodily functions. And so with that information, it could be a little triggering. If you feel triggered, you feel uncomfortable, please reach out. 312-857-6055. Someone will be waiting to speak with you. Someone will be waiting to pray with you. Someone will be waiting to encourage you. Please visit our Facebook page at the F.L.O.W Life, as well as our group page. Where do we go from here? You're more than welcome to join in that group, to express your concerns, your feelings, to just talk about it, to vent, to connect with others, to be encouraged, because this is what we are here to do. Also, get your copy of The Mornings After. Read about that journey. There are others that tell their story of how they're lost and what their journey looked like, right? There are tools within that journey and within that. And you can get it. It is on Amazon now, I'm glad to say. Once again, email us at theflowlife41@gmail.com, also to access your copy. And as we're coming to wrapping this up, I don't want to leave you just out there. I'm sure some things has arisen. So here are some healthy survival tips I would like to offer you today. If you're feeling overwhelmed with meeting, you have children at home and there's homeschooling, there's work, there's laundry, there's what next meal to prep, delegate. Feel okay. Be okay with delegating some responsibility temporarily. When you're ready, write it down. Even in the uncomfortable moments, what are you actually grateful for? Right? Because every new day is an opportunity to try it again. Release your grip. Release the grip on the things that you can't change. Okay? Breathe. Learn to breathe. Stop in the moment of feeling intense and overwhelmed. Inhale and blow it out. As you inhale, remember that scripture, that quote, or that one word that brings you peace, and blow out the negative sensations that you're feeling. Study shows that breathing does activate and change your whole state of being. And I didn't know that. I was walking in a panic. And every time I went to the doctor, he was saying my oxygen level was low. And I'm like, why? I'm breathing. I wasn't. I was. And so I give you and I encourage you, once again, remember yourself, be kind to yourself. And once again, continue to join us here at The F.L.O.W as we bring valuable conversations and information that will transition you into a better state of being. You can be reached at 312-857-6055 and also the FlowLife41gmail.com. I am your host, Trayanda D. Towns, here at BGK Network. And once again, thank you for joining us at The F.L.O.W.